What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Life by the Bow. As you can see, it is a beautiful day here in the Florida Keys. We went fishing this morning, no current, no luck. It just has not been good lately. But on the other hand, just to keep some content flowing this week, I'm gonna do a little video based on trailering our 39-foot contender. Now, there may be some people that are viewing this video a little bit later on. You might be looking into buying a boat, trailering a boat, and basically my whole reasoning behind doing this video is if I can put this boat on a trailer and take it off solo, it being a 40-foot boat, you can do it with any size boat as well. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna just do like a little vlog style video, and I'm just gonna give you guys a couple tips and tricks based on trailering your boat solo, and hopefully by the time you finish watching this video, you know, trailering your boat won't be so intimidating and you'll feel a little more confident at the end of the day. So this is what we're working with right here. This is the trailer for our 39. Maybe a little hard to believe, but pretty soon the boat's gonna be sitting right on top of it. But one thing I can say about trailering a boat is just to relax, but at the same time, think very clearly and concisely based on what you're doing, because when you get too nervous, that's when you make mistakes. So you just wanna kind of relax, take your time. Most importantly, learn your trailer, learn your truck, learn how it tows. Don't just go right into it. You know, do a couple times around the block, you know, go somewhere where you can practice going forward, making turns. This is if you're new. You know, there's probably a lot of people watching this with a lot of experience, but the beauty of YouTube is to learn, and I'm here to teach. So, you know, I'm just gonna go over some of the things that I always do before I ever head to the boat ramp or before I ever hitch up my truck and I go anywhere. But to say the least, this is a pretty big trailer. You know, I've gone from a little skiff to the Pathfinder to our 30 contender. So this is the biggest trailer I've ever towed before, but it tows very, very similarly to my 30-footer did. If anything, it may sound crazy, it's actually a little easier. The longer the trailer you have, the less responsive it is when you're backing up. But as we're moving down, let's just go ahead and talk about the tow vehicle a little bit. That 39, it's about 15,000 pounds. This truck is rated to tow around 15,000 pounds. So it's borderline, but at the same time, there's not an issue. So with that being said, this 2500, I mean, it handles that boat perfectly fine, without an issue, without a hiccup. 1500 does drive a lot better, but basically what I'm getting at is that you should be perfectly fine towing anywhere between the 30 to 40 foot range, depending on the weight of your boat, with the 2500 truck. This truck works out great, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the truck, we're gonna take the trailer, we're gonna go and park it at the boat ramp, but before we do, we're just gonna do a little walk around the trailer, and most importantly, you wanna pay attention here. You wanna make sure that you're chained up, your chains are crossed, you have the right size ball for your coupler. Just because the ball fits inside of the coupler doesn't mean it's the right size. You wanna make sure that you're reading right here. For example, this is a 5/16 ball that this coupler takes, and that's exactly what we have right here. So, we're good to go. We got our brake lights plugged in. This is really important, especially when going in reverse, because some trailers that have brakes, if this isn't plugged in, the brakes will not disengage. If the brakes don't disengage, you won't be able to back up, because this tongue doesn't do that. But for example, tongues that activate their brakes by pressure, if the tongue does feel pressure, it will engage the brakes and you won't be able to back up unless this is plugged in. So that's just a little tip, but at the end of the day, we have it plugged in, so we don't have to worry about it. All right, so let's get moving over to the boat ramp, and then we're gonna pull the boat around and put it up on top. So due to the power of editing, the truck and the trailer, they are at the boat ramp. But the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna start our engines. Before you ever untie, you wanna make sure your engines are started before anything, just because of the fact that you don't wanna be in a situation where you don't have power behind your boat, so that's key. Engines are on. Now we're just gonna go ahead, untie the boat. The reason why I'm walking you through all this is because, you know, if you're a first-time boat owner, you've never done this before, this is how I do it. So hopefully this helps you out somewhat. We don't have much current, we don't have much wind, so I know that I can just toss this rope real quick. The boat's not gonna go too far. Same here in the back. All right. Now that we're untied, it's time to go. All right, so now we are officially on our way to the boat ramp, and here's where the fun part is. Everything seems good. I already have my ropes still on the boat because I want to make sure when I pull up to the dock, I'm completely ready to go. You don't want to pull up to your dock and then pull out your ropes, because at that point you may not be ready. Luckily today there's not much wind, not much current, so we should be relatively good doing this. We shouldn't have too many issues, but the most important thing is to always be ready. Don't get there and then start getting things ready. Show up to the boat ramp, act like you know what you're doing, have your ropes out, be ready. Let's go ahead, get on plane, let's get over there, get this thing on the trailer. All right, so here we are at the dock. We're just gonna ease in real nice. And so I'm gonna show you guys how I like to tie up my boat. You come back here. You can see this dock doesn't have any cleats on it, so what I do is I just wrap around the piling, and then what I do is I just tie it off back to the cleat that's here on the stern of my boat. I'm gonna do the same exact thing up front. So as you can see, same exact thing I did in the back, just wrapped around the piling there. I'm gonna come right back to the cleat on the boat. So here we are at the dock at the boat ramp. Boat's tied off real nice. So basically at this point, what we're just gonna do is we're gonna slide the trailer right underneath the boat, and then we're gonna power it up on there. That's just the way I like to do it. That's my preference. So let's walk over to the truck. Let's get it up on there. I'm just looking behind me. I'm just making sure that I'm good to go. And everything looks great. So I'm just gonna keep on backing this straight down. All right, so the trailer's dunked. It's right underneath the boat. At this point, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna untie, just give a little tiny push, and literally just pull the boat straight up on the trailer. It's as easy as that. Okay, so we just did the bow rope. Now we have the stern. Like I was saying, we're just gonna go ahead, give it a little tiny push, just enough to get it lined up with the trailer. And we're gonna go straight on. So you can see I'm not keeping the boat in gear. I'm literally just letting it drift right up onto the trailer. And that's it. There's no reason why you need to be going fast. We're just gonna use a little power to move it up. And boom, we're on the trailer. All we gotta do now is just winch it up. So now that the boat's on the trailer, make sure you're trimmed up. A lot of guys do this. They put the boat on the trailer, they forget to trim up their motors. Then they go banging them up all over the boat ramp. That's not something we want to do. Okay? Motors are trimmed up, boat's on the trailer, it's between the posts. We're good to go. All we got to do now is just pull forward. Make sure to go real slow so the boat sits on the trailer. Nice and straight. And that's it. So now the boat's actually on the trailer. Everything looks great, sitting on there perfectly. But before we leave, we just want to make sure to put our straps on the back, and we want to lower our riggers and our antennas, just because they're not sticking too much further up past the radar, but they're sticking up just a little bit. And you just always want to build a great habit out of doing this if you do have antennas or riggers on top of your T-top, just so you're not banging into anything when you're trailering, because I can promise you, if there's a tree around, you will hit it. So what we're just gonna do is we're gonna walk around real quick, make sure everything's good, strap down the back of the boat, then we're gonna hop up onto the T-top, put down the riggers, put down the antennas, and then we are officially good to trailer, take her home. All right, so this is kind of a little overboard right now what I'm doing, but I'm just making sure that there's no trash that can fly out of the boat. And this is something that you should check not only when you're on the water, but especially when you're trailering, because God forbid, you know, somebody's riding a motorcycle or something like that. If a piece of trash flies out of your boat or a life jacket, whatever it may be, and hits them in the face, you know, that can be a life or death situation. So that's something you always want to watch out for. And like I said, just lowering these riggers, lowering these antennas all the way. And then once I get done there, it's time to go home. So we're off back to the house right now, and basically the only thing that we have to do at this point really is just clean the boat, but most importantly, rinse the trailer, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But what's nice about these 2500 trucks is they have tow mirrors on them. And basically, there's two portions. There's the top portion that's a little magnified, and then the bottom portion is just like a normal mirror. And what's nice about that is I can point the upper portion up. That way I can have a clear view at my T-top to make sure I'm not hitting any trees. And then the lower portion, I can pay attention to my trailer and make sure that I'm swinging out wide enough that I'm not taking out any trees, any stumps, or any type of street signs or anything like that. But so far so good, everything seems solid. So last but not least, but to never be overlooked, we are rinsing the trailer. This only applies if you're using your trailer in salt water. Unfortunately here, we live on the ocean. Not unfortunately, but unfortunate that we have to rinse our trailer. You know, we're just knocking off all the salt water. Right here, what I'm rinsing right now, this is all aluminum, so we don't have to hit it as hard, but we want to make sure that, you know, our lug nuts, our brakes, our brake disc, and especially our axles, we hit really hard with fresh water, just because it is made out of galvanized steel. Though that galvanized steel does hold up pretty well, it eventually does start to corrode, and if it does corrode, you could have premature axle failure. And you want to make sure that that never happens, because, you know, if your brakes are locked up or something's not right on your trailer, you cannot get your boat to the boat ramp. And if you can't get your boat to the boat ramp, you're not going on the boat. So we always want to make sure our trailer is in tip-top shape, just like our boat. At the end of the day, I know that this isn't the best video in the world. It's more of like a vlog style, something that we don't really do, but you know, fishing's tough right now, guys, and we're just trying to keep content flowing. You know, a seasoned boater, you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about in this video, but for those of us that don't get out on the water often, or we don't own a boat, or we plan on buying a boat, I'm hoping that you guys really took away from this video, you guys learned something, because that's what YouTube's all about. It's all about searching up, learning something new, but at the same time, you know, we always like to throw a little bit of lifestyle in there just to make it a little more enjoyable. So hopefully this is something you guys enjoyed, and something maybe we're gonna be doing a little more often here. But here it is. Here's a 40-foot boat up on a trailer. We're gonna clean her up, make sure she's ready until the next video. If you guys enjoyed this, you know, I'd really appreciate if you guys subscribe, like the video, drop us a comment, let us know what you thought. And until next week, we'll see you guys.